The carnivore diet has exploded in popularity, and for me, that makes me very happy. This way of eating radically changed and improved my health. For those of you that are new here, I'm Allie. I struggled with chronic illness and then middle age type lifestyle illnesses for the majority of my adult life. I started the carnivore diet almost 3 years ago. It'll be 3 years ago in January. And I have improved and maintained my health. Later in the video, I'm going to tell you a couple of things that I've been struggling with lately that will probably surprise you, because it's not something that I've struggled with very often. And, after almost, 3 years, like I said, so I want you to stay tuned. So I will go over those obstacles, if you will, and what I'm going to do to help with those issues. Maybe this is something that you've struggled with if you have started a carnivore diet, or maybe you just want to know a plan ahead of time. So I'll just give you an overview. Lately, it does feel like everyone's talking about the carnivore diet or animal-based diet or, meat-heavy keto. There's lots and lots of buzzwords out there. And from, a strict lion diet or carnivore kids, that's really prominent in the news cycle, which goes by, so quickly. Who can keep up? I'm really pleased to know, encouraged to know that people are talking about these types of lifestyles, because it did drastically improve my health. And, I learned it all on YouTube. So, but I had tried everything else that my doctors and specialists had suggested. I had been going in to see, my nurse practitioner on a somewhat regular basis, because I was always struggling with something. And a couple of the major impacts that the carnivore diet had for me were lowering my inflammation, my mental clarity, and my metabolic health. So specifically, my metabolic health improved. I've lost 50 pounds. I've maintained that for a year and a half, something like that. I did not lose 50 pounds overnight. I lost about 20 pounds in the first 6 months. I stalled because I have other health issues that I had to figure out amid all that noise that everybody's talking about. Don't do this, don't do this, try this, don't try that, whatever. So I had to sift through that and work alongside my healthcare practitioner, my nurse practitioner. I lost 20 pounds. I stalled for 3 months in the first summer. I tried other things. I went crazy, with all of that noise, but I just slowly kept making mistakes and figuring out what works best for me at, my age and my stage of life. So I figured that out. And the other part of it is your body adapts and it figures out, and it changes. But one of the most important things to remember is your body is resilient. It wants to have nourishing food. And if you can just do your best, sometimes that's moment to moment, especially in the beginning. But after time and established habits, it does get easier. Like I said, my improvements were I had an autoimmune flare that caused me to search YouTube. And I have a lot of autoimmune illnesses. I don't know if it's based in insulin resistance from the time I was in my late teens, or if it's autoimmune, or if it's inflammation. I don't know how much it really matters. So I decided to try eating only meat and just to see how long I could, maintain that. And I never would I have thought that I would be maintaining, I would still be doing it almost 3 years later. My mental health, that was a big surprise. My mental health got a lot better. My anxiety it did not vanish overnight, but I did realize that after about 2 months that my intense anxiety had chilled. I was much more chill, and I still maintain a level, a vibe, the chill vibe. So cringe. My kids have a reason to be embarrassed by me. It's the carnivore lifestyle for me, and it did shift into that. But I noticed, weight loss, mental clarity, brain fog went away, better digestion, much better digestion, and my autoimmune and inflammation went down. So I primarily eat beef, butter, bacon, eggs, cheese, dairy. I do dairy. So I'll show you some of the things that I'm going to be eating. Now I'm getting ready to tell you about the problem that I stumbled across. It's just a little obstacle. It's not, it's not the end of the world. So, we've recently moved to Indiana. It was a long, long process. It was about 1.5 years. We decided to move from Tennessee, Memphis area back to Indiana. I decided to stop having my nails done for a little bit of time. Okay. It's been 4 years that I've been doing like a gel manicure, and then I shifted to dip powder. Okay. I know this isn't like the biggest deal in the world, but the reason I started, and I have forgotten about this because it was so many years ago. The reason I started getting a manicure is because I pick the skin around my nails. I don't bite my nails. I haven't bitten my nails since I was a teenager, but I bite my nail, or I do pick at the skin. And I had completely forgotten that that's really the reason I started getting a manicure, because if I have something on my nails, I don't pick. And I know it's toxins and it's all that. So that was the first thing I wanted to tell you. So you are seeing my nails plain, and they're kind of thin, and but I thought I'll grow them out, and I'm probably going to put some like nail stickers or something on them, because I'm picking with my, I don't even realize I'm doing it. So that's not something I've dealt with for a long, long time. And it was a surprise to me. The other thing is I have been drinking a lot of lattes. So I always have my, my fatty latte, which, at home I have 2 cups of coffee every morning, and it's, Equip Prime protein, unflavored, butter and salt coffee. But in the last 2 weeks, we've been busy and we've finally gotten settled, and it's like, oh, it's a treat. So I don't go and get, I don't drink soda anymore. I don't drink pop. I don't drink diet pop, but I drink coffee, and, there's a coffee place on every corner. You can find one everywhere. So I've had a latte made with heavy cream every day for like a week and a half. And 2 things have happened. I've started to have breakouts. Now I've also been eating dairy, but I think it's the heavy cream, because this happened a couple, I know I've had some instances of this in the very beginning of the first summer I did carnivore. So I'm having breakouts, and it's not the worst ever. But the other thing I have noticed is I think I'm either getting a cold or I'm having trouble with allergies. The roof of my mouth has been itching like crazy, and it was very quickly onset. It just happened really fast. So my plan is for the next couple of days to keep my carnivore diet very clean, and I'm probably going to, I'm not going to get too rigid, because I don't think that's necessary for me at the moment. I'm going to keep it to probably just beef, butter, bacon. I'm not going to do eggs. I'm not feeling eggs right now, and I got to find a new egg dealer. So hamburger patties, taco bowls, but not taco bowls, because taco bowls have maybe in the next several days, maybe towards the end of the week. It's Tuesday. So maybe towards the end of the week, if I notice improvement in my allergies, or if it's cold, it could be like a cold, whatever. I don't know, because it is getting, whatever, weather change. But I'm more inclined to think that it's probably a dairy, heavy cream kind of issue. So I just beef. I'm going to try to do beef and bacon, coffee, salt and water. I might try to do a little bit of unflavored electrolytes, like just pretty clean. So I might not have dairy for the next couple of days, but I'm not making that 100% commitment, because if I get to a point where I'm like, I want some cheese, I'm going to eat some cheese, because I have tweaked and I've played around with it a lot. So, and if I'm okay with dealing with, some acne or some blemishes and some itchy mouth, that sounds weird, but that kind of thing, that's my prerogative. Okay, so what do you think about that? What do you struggle with? What questions can I answer? My kids are not carnivore. My kids are old. 2 of them are adults. One's married, has his own family. You know, my other daughter, she's not carnivore. I don't think kids necessarily need to be carnivore. I think they need to be mostly whole food, fruits and berries, or berries, meat, cheese, meat and fat, you know. I think that would be fantastic. I would love it if my kids ate mostly, you know, meat, cheese, you know, standard low carb diet. I think that'd be fantastic. I just don't think there's, you know, it's not essential to have all of these other things like, you know, essential fiber. It's not essential. I haven't had fiber in over 2.5 years. I'm okay. My digestion and gastro, you know, great, fantastic. I don't have the problems that I had for, you know, half my life. That is a big reason why, you know, people like to debate, you know, you have to have fiber, you have to have fruits and vegetables, you know, what about nutrients that you get from, and it's like, really, a meat-based diet will provide all of those nutrients for you. I've had lots of blood work done. I've had, you know, lots of testing done, making sure to reassure myself, like, is this crazy? You know, am I, and I have only I've only experienced improvement. Does that mean that my life and my health is perfect? No. You know, I turned 50 over the weekend, so I'm excited about that, but I'm doing much better at 50 than I have for the majority of my life. So leave your questions below. I told you what I'm struggling with. I told you what I'm going to do. Stay tuned and I'll show you some, you know, in the coming weeks, I will show you some more what I ate, if I was successful, how, you know, am I noticing improvements by, you know, taking out dairy? Is it something else? So stick around. An electric skillet, let me tell you, I'm excited about it. I've used it. I got it a couple months ago, loving it. My sister-in-law had one and she was making, you know, hamburgers, smash burgers, and it was great. Hers is like even bigger. And she was making bacon in it. Probably won't make it for bacon. I do prefer my air fryer for the bacon. From Sam's, I got the little hamburger patties. I get them at Sam's Club. Dale fried them up in here, and I like mine crispy. So these are like the tiny burgers. That could be a thumbnail. Okay, I'm goofy. So anyway, I'm gonna get my air fryer ready. I'll show you. I just warm up the left, you know, I'm just gonna slap the bacon in there. I do it for 350 for about 15 minutes. And I'm gonna make up a bunch. And by a bunch, I mean 12 pieces in here. So I'm gonna make that up. That'll last us like 30 minutes. So listen, I just, you know, I put my gloves and I leave those gloves in there because I don't like touching bacon because I don't like to get it under my nails. I don't like touching raw meat, period. So I always, you know, I wear gloves. I just leave them in there so I'm not, you know, anyway.